Mark Stiles, Stiles Law, Route 139 in Marshfield. And we also talk about legal questions. And by the way, you can always text in if you'd like to have a question used on a future segment. You can always text the program 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. Text the program, and your question could be used in a future Feel Good Friday segment. The question this week is, this is about estate planning, Mark. The question says, Mark, you've talked estate planning in the past, and we have come to a roadblock because we don't really trust our son-in-law and don't know what to do. All right, let's see if we can help with that.
So that's heavy, Rob, and that's real. Okay. We talked about last week how a lot of people, younger families who have minor children, sometimes run into a roadblock because they can't figure out who to choose as the guardian.
Yeah.
This is very different, but the strategy is the same, right? There's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to estate planning, and we try to reinforce that with people because, folks think, I want to get my will done. Okay, well, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What are your goals? What are your wishes? What are your aspirations? What are you worried about, right? And here is a worry, right? So maybe there's an imminent divorce coming on, right? Or maybe they see this person, in this case, a son-in-law, as a spendthrift, right? Maybe he has a gambling problem or alcohol dependency problem or something, and they want to protect their legacy, right? So they want to deliver their legacy. We've also talked about how to deliver your legacy while you're alive, right? We talked about the gifting structures in planning where you could actually give while you're alive and you get to see the benefits of that. But what if you wait, you pass along, and that legacy, that estate, all of everything you save, your life insurance, the equity to your home, everything that you possibly have goes to your daughter and son-in-law, and your son-in-law blows it. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a real fear, and it sounds like that's the fear that these folks are having, and there's a couple of strategies around that. And it's funny, we were talking about Florida earlier, but there's a strategy to skip generations. So you actually skip the generation and give to your grandchildren.
Okay.
But what that does is it potentially could trigger a tax. And I don't want to get into the weeds of the generation skipping tax, but there are plans around the generation skipping transfer tax by creating trust. And in essence, what you're doing is you're giving your daughter and son-in-law the ability to utilize the money.
Yeah.
But once that person who is not the son-in-law dies, it's in trust for the kids and not the son-in-law. And they are only able to access certain amounts of that money at certain amounts of time. So what it has is it has a spendthrift provision in it. So in essence, they can't come and attach the proceeds of that trust. The RES, R-E-S is what the terminology is of the trust, the funds, the assets, the money that are in the accounts. So the creditor comes, maybe the casino's coming after the husband, they can avoid that asset from collection, which is really important to a lot of people, but I don't think a lot of people know that. So there are solutions to all of the fears. And again, we always say it's better to be proactive than reactive, but it's, not having a plan is a hope, it's a wish.
So in the case here, now obviously if the parents didn't like any of their children, it's still your choice. You don't have to make them beneficiaries of anything, right? You can cut them out completely.
You can. You absolutely can.
But if this is the case, because they're saying they don't trust their son-in-law, what if you really trust your daughter? But you're right, the son-in-law, as long as they're married, right? That's the issue.
So that's the issue, and you don't know what the future holds, and that's what you're trying to protect against. So that the folks that are strategizing their plan, they're creating their estate plan, they worry, okay, what if we give everything to our daughter and our grandkids, and this meathead from the old 70s shows, right? This son-in-law,
it's going to mess everything
messes it all up. Well, there's ways to work around that.
Okay. But the thing again is to plan ahead and make these decisions carefully.
Right, and you're not counseling with the son-in-law on this. This is your plan. You have the power to create. Like, you're not at the will of, okay, when I die, I guess he's going to get it. No, there's ways around that. like
right.
everything. And that's just one example.
If you want more information, get in touch with Mark Stiles at Stiles Law on Route 139 in Marshfield. You can find him online, and Mark, of course, people can give you a call.
They sure can at 781-319-1900. But I encourage everyone to go onto our YouTube channel at YouTube, search Stiles Law, and any question you have there, search it into the search bar, and maybe we have an answer to it. We've based it on a Q&A type of format, so check it out.
Feel Good Friday with Mark Stiles, Stiles Law. We do it every Friday right after the 9 o'clock news on WATD. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Rob. Have a great week.
You too.